Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about the differences between particle board and melamine. One of the most frequently asked questions we get here is what's the difference between particle board and melamine, and is plywood really much more superior to melamine? So let's talk about melamine first. So melamine is basically this outside two layers. It's like thermally fused on, it's hard, crispy layer. And then in the middle of it, there's some material called particle board. Particle board is actually little tiny wood chips glued together and then compressed. And a lot of people have a bad experience with particle board because they've experienced cheap furniture with something that looks like melamine, but is actually called paper. And the density of the particles are way less than what we use. So when they make particle board, they take all the little wood chips recycled from the lumber industry and then they compress them. And when they compress them, if they use less compression, like IKEA uses 60-pound density board, the board is less compressed, it's less likely to hold up. We use 90-pound density, which means that the board is compressed to 90 pounds of pressure. It's highly compressed and it's strong, and we use a pine core board here. So some of the pros to melamine and particle board, okay? One of the pros is it comes in a lot of different colors. It's very cost effective, and it's a wipe clean surface, right? The surface won't age and it's able to wipe clean. Some of the cons: it has a bad reputation. It's heavier than plywood. In reality, it's a good material, even though it's not as strong as plywood. So those are the pros and cons to melamine. Then you have the different kinds of plywoods. So before we talk about plywood, this guy is actually a combination of plywood and melamine, where there's a plywood core with the melamine outside faces. So a lot of people want to have it white interior, but they don't want to have the particle board core. They would still prefer to have a plywood core. So this is kind of an in-between material. In terms of cost, this is still probably the same cost, if not a little bit more than regular plywood. Then you have the different plywoods. So plywood is actually made up of layers of plies, and then the plies are stuck together with a layer of glue. And then we use this pre-finished, UV pre-finished material from Columbia Forest. So some of the pros and cons to plywood, okay? So pro, it's a little bit stronger than melamine, but not by a whole lot. It's way lighter. Cons is that it dings and this surface will age because it's real wood with a UV coating. Now, a lot of people ask about water resistance. So what we found over the years of testing and experience is, because each one is made out of real wood, it's just what the wood form is, this material, particle board, has more water resistance, even though everybody's experience has been with it has been poor. And the reason why this is slightly more water resistant to this is because each particle of material is coated by a layer of glue. Whereas this material, each layer is the only glue line. The rest of the material is wood, which will still wick water. So again, even though particle board has a bad reputation because most everybody's experienced the least expensive possible material, that's kind of the story on water resistance. There is a new plywood out in the marketplace. It's not necessarily new, but new to be used for cabinets instead of like drawers and stuff, is called Baltic birch. And Baltic birch is basically wood from the Baltics, and it's glued together in multiple layers. The pros to this is it's lightweight, it's far stronger than this, and this material actually has a semi-waterproof glue line. You can kind of tell by looking at the edge where you can kind of see the glue line being darker color, which represents that the glue is water resistant. But it still has some of the same problems where the layers are solid wood and water will still wick through. A solution that we found over the years to the water problem is no matter what material we use, when we put a finished edging on it, we can edge every exposed surface, even on melamine. So there is no water penetration into the material. Like if a lot of jobs we do are by the ocean, beachfront, oceanfront, so customers have that concern, and we'll just coat every area with a finished edge so it's a sealed board all the way around. So that's kind of a brief overview of the different materials.